Okay, so you probably saw the title and the thumbnail and thought, my God, what has Andy done this time? Well, I decided to get myself into the world of mobile gaming. And when I say mobile gaming, I don't mean necessarily the likes of Candy Crush that we've all probably heard of, but I wanted something similar. Now, I had previously liked stuff like the city building games. So if we go back to the wonderful world of years ago on Facebook, when you used to have, your sort of Farmville or Cityville and those kind of almost resource driven build your own kind of solution and then off you go. So I thought I'd build it out into something slightly different. And talking of the world of Facebook, I've always seen a advert for a game called Mafia City. And you'll probably see them and remember them looking a little bit like this. Now the thing is, the game is absolutely nothing like that at all. The game is actually based on almost a clan survival or a clan power struggle in a Mafia City world. The story pans out where you've taken over from a brother that has passed away or killed at the hands of one of your enemies. I won't spoil the story too much, but then you kind of set yourself on a way of building out your Mafia clan, and then within your kind of crew and various setups, you then look out to find other people in there in the same situation as you to build out a clan for the larger majority. And it all then becomes about various things like a power struggle. So there is a mayor election where I believe, and I've not been playing it long enough to understand this so far, but there are elements where the top 5 clans are considered for a mayor running, and then whoever's mayor can set the rules, and then everybody's supposed to follow. I imagine from what I've seen and played in the last 30 days or so, that those rules probably go out the window very quickly. However, the people that I've been playing with, particularly in the most recent clan I'm in, which I would definitely stay in because they are really wonderful people, have kind of told me that these rules are supposed to be stuck to. Now, the one city I'm in at the moment, it seems that anarchy rules, and nobody really seems to give two shits about the way things pan out. Or they deliberately use manipulation to kind of control the way things are going. So, what I wanted to do is kind of show you what Mafia City looks like, talk about it a little bit so you understand the kind of concept of the game, and then give my thoughts on what I've experienced since playing it, because I'll be totally honest, my God, people are mental. So, this is Mafia City. Like I mentioned probably at the beginning of the video, this primarily I kind of looked at it and thought, wow, it's almost like a city builder with a little bit of strategy involved. And I was quite impressed. You kind of start off, you're thrown into this mansion, and the idea of it is there's a story that goes on, or a chapterized story that kind of tells you a little bit of how you've come to power, and what the next steps are, and you kind of try to unravel the espionage that's been going on within your own family. Without me spoiling too much that's happened, it's actually quite an interesting story. There are objectives for you to achieve to reach those goals, but realistically, for you to actually meet them, in a reasonable time, it's when the kind of pay to win kind of mentality kind of flips in. And unfortunately, we all fall for that. And I will explain why Yotta Games have done a really clever job in making sure you spend an absolute boatload of money with them. So you start off in here and you get a wonderful lady, I think her name is Jennifer, who's your kind of secretary as you come in, or your PA almost. And she'll introduce you to the mansion. In the mansion, you get all the bits where you can upgrade it. And you start with obviously a level 1 mansion. I'm currently running on a level 22, I think. And obviously resources are used. You've got your cargo, your money, your ammo, and then eventually you kind of, ammo and metal are unlocked a bit later, but you kind of these flip in. So it's actually really skillful. But now if you do see anything blurred on the screen, it's because I want to protect the clan I'm in. I'm making this video and I'm being very honest about the stuff I've seen. So, within the clan, they are really good. And, I've got nothing but love for those guys. They've been really supportive of me, knowing that I've come in new. I've not hidden the fact that I'm a YouTuber from a lot of these. And I've even told them I'm making this video and said that I will make sure we protect our identity, because one thing I didn't want to do is cause repercussions in the game for us. Me just talking generally about my thoughts and feelings of the game and the people involved in it. So you start off with, listen, you get these babes, and the first baby is Diana, and she doesn't normally look like this. You get these different options of what she can be wearing. I think she starts off, wow, that's what you want. It's almost like a perverted game, isn't it, in some respects? But she starts off in this normal dress, so it looks very sophisticated. The idea is you kind of want to deflower her as quickly as possible, and I'll show you what that looks like. It's obviously nothing that YouTube are going to block, because one, it's a mobile game that anybody can pretty much download. But if you're like me, you pretty much have addressed in the very little as possible, because, hey, we've all got that little bit of a perverted side, haven't we? So that's what Diana's now using. And you can unlock different babes. And the idea of it is you can play various games with them to kind of unlock various bits quicker. And then from there, you can then date them. So what does dating look like? Well, if dating was this simple, I think guys would be a lot happier and women a lot more satisfied. But realistically, dating looks very much like this. Now, that's probably the quickest performance I've ever seen from anybody. And I'll take my hats off to her. She's very satisfied. If you could hear the audio of what she's saying, she is very pleased with the job you've done there. So either way, Catherine, we're going to move on. But the babes, what they can do is, as they come along, they unlock various different perks for your crew that you can certainly utilise. So now your crew consists of different ones. And you've got basically vehicle, you've got bikers, bulkers, and then the shooters. And they kind of unlock and go up in levels. So when I go into train, for example, you can see at the moment I'm currently wanting what they call T8. I need to get up a lot higher. There's certainly people running T10s and higher, that I'm aware of in this game already. That's kind of where I need to get to. But you can kind of see how it, the idea is as you improve and you can then do more damage to the opposition. You start to unlock various other bits as well. So you get a garden, which is, I don't get this part, but it's just another way that they can monetize a lot of the stuff in this. So basically, you can collect seed now. You can then use that in the store. That store can then provide various speed ups and perks that you can use. So if I just now use that on planting all, you can see some of them have got additional perks. Now, the garden isn't unlocked instantly. It does take a while. I think you have to be a certain level. And you've got a garden guard. And I don't really know what this dog does. I've not really come across any challenges with it yet. All I know is it's got the most bloody expensive taste ever. I think it costs nearly 50,000 to feed him. So God knows what he's eating, but it's certainly not win a lot. Let's put it that way. So let's just feed him and keep him happy. Now, I think what he's supposed to do is protect people from coming and stealing your seed. Yeah, enough about that, really. And you kind of focus in this primarily area to begin with. You get other bits where you get like the pawnbroker, investment agency, diner, which allows you to do stuff. Your vault, which allows you to protect your money. And then down the bottom here, you get your kind of elements where you can do all your resource gathering. So all of those elements are at the top there. You can set up different bits, and the club and healing centres are to heal your crew. Now, I won't ask to heal because it will then start pulling all of my clan members through where they assist me, and that helps me reduce my speed. And I don't want to be blurring everything on the screen constantly because we'll just be here all day looking at that. You can protect other babes that come to the bit that, and that kind of gives you additional perks, and those kind of fall into the items which break down. And I'll be honest, I've not Thanks. I'll have to blur that. But basically, all of these fall into different categories that enable you to have truces and various other different bits. But they're really, really powerful and allow you to try to utilize stuff. And that's kind of where the pay to win side comes in, because you need some of these speed ups to actually get ahead a lot quicker. And that comes in the form, a lot of it will form into the form of gold. And they kind of catch you with these sales that are constantly available. And I think some of them are quite ludicrous. The fact that somebody would pay nearly £3,205 for this is, let's be honest, it's just fucking shit nonsense. Why would you pay that much? You look at that now and think, I'm getting a cracking deal. I'll be honest, unless you're really happy with this game, I would say not. But you see, you do get some free bits, so I can just collect that for free. So I'm quite happy with that. So there's different bits that you can kind of drop in and collect and unlock. And down this side here, you've got all these different daily events that have different monthly events, weekly events, etc. that all have almost a monetized view of you coming in and pulling stuff in. Now, these two bits down the bottom with mail and clan, I won't go into, but what they enable you to do is talk to your clan itself. You get your reports for your attacks, that kind of thing, and there's bits where you can assist the clan. So you've probably seen where I've had a couple pop up and I've just quickly blurred their names, where they can help depreciate the time that it takes to build stuff or upgrade stuff. And you can see with some of these now that these ones are quite short now. I've used a few speed ups on these, but these are taking like 1 day or 9 hours. When you do your mansion, I've had one that's taken 7 days. And it's only speed ups that's brought it down to a reasonable amount. So if I click that, that would help all my clan members out. So I'll click that and it would just say thanks for helping out. So that what's popping up on my screen, they'll all get a reduction of, depending on your level, I think ours is currently like 111 seconds. But if you get 20 people or so do that, it does make a difference, particularly early level, because some things only take 20 minutes. There does come a point where stuff becomes free to build, and then you can just click on it and it's built instantly. So over here is your crew. So this kind of, the animation size here doesn't always look a lot different, but you can click on your butler and it will tell you how big your crew is. I'm not doing that right now. And then you get over this side. This part unlocks later on. And I haven't unlocked this all, but this enables you to build parts and join a family, where you can then kind of spend points in different families depending on which one you go on, and they'll improve your crew or improve your stats, etc. And it's very similar with the investment side. So if I go into investments, I can make investments into different areas, and they've got percentages assigned to them all. But I can add, additional parts in where I want to train, so it kind of tells you how long it will take and whether I want to speed it up, that kind of thing. This part, I really like this. It does get quite tactical, and you kind of, if you understand the stats better, you can really make a quicker improvement very quickly. Now, how it works is you're powered by what you call power. And I think a lot of people get obsessed by this number. Having played with the people I've played with, it's not the be-all and end-all. If you've actually got really good stats with your crew attack levels, the kind of crew that you're using, you can actually probably outdo somebody with higher power than you. Because power can be subjective to the amount of buildings or the levels of buildings you've got, rather than the actual attack and defensive crew that you've got. So you can see the amount of enemies I've killed there so far. That doesn't mean individual enemies. That's all to do with troops. A current power level, and then a photo wall, which I can stick stuff on there. And all this is kind of like equipment, that I'm building up. And like I said, don't get me wrong, I'm miles off the pace at the moment, but I'm kind of just enjoying the ride a little bit. And you can see how many achievements, etc. I've got. You can build out skills, so you can see where I've dropped skills in. That kind of works that way. There is a different skill set there, but you can kind of mix about. And I've started to put more into the battle than I have in the growth and support, which I did earlier on. So yeah, a very kind of that base game. Like I said, the problem I've got with it is, one, is the monetization side. People certainly, you will see, if I showed you the top clans in here, which I could do actually. I'll do it and then blur out the stuff. So if I do this, for example, and go clan power ranking, I will literally blur out this side so you can't see this, but it gives you an indication the kind of difference in levels. And some of these players have got 16 million power or so already, which the only way they'd have done that ever is to pay a load of money out very quickly to basically level up. Madness, absolute madness. So yeah, but it's interesting, it's kind of interesting to kind of see that. Now, when you come and step outside the game, so if I step out into the world, again, apologies, there are going to be some stuff blurred. You'll notice I've got a bubble on. Now, the reason for that is there's just recently been a kill event, and there's different events that kind of happen. And the kill event is almost a little bit like a no-holds-barred point where you can attack anybody, supposedly, even if you've got an alliance with them. I don't think that's the normal acceptable level in most cities, but in ours, anarchy and craziness kind of rules. But the idea is you can use these bubbles and truce bubbles to kind of protect yourself, to stop people attacking you. And there's different, kind of items you can use. Don't get me wrong, they're all behind a locked gold request usually, which if you haven't got gold, then involves you buying stuff, and you get the drift. So the idea is you can kind of go out and attack different bits. So if I wanted to go and attack this samurai, for example, I could click on him, click go. It kind of gives you the odds, which is good. It'll tell you like the attack crew, and it will go out and it will make that attack. So you'll see my dragons, off it's going now. Now, they're not normally dragons. This is, again, a decoration or a kind of perk that I've got from one of the boxes I did buy. I will admit, I bought a few, just to kind of keep me in and help the clan out, really. When you see the kind of golf in, certain people's levels and the attitudes of those people as well, where, one of them said today, if you can't afford to spend money in this game, you shouldn't be playing it. I don't agree with that necessarily. I think people should just be able to play it for their own enjoyment and work together. It is like a team game, but there's the challenges around the way people behave in that as well. And what that will do is that will give me items, this attack, and also drop in bits into the mail. So if I go back into my city, just so that I'm not doing anything, straight away it comes up with an advert. So it's already trying to force me down that route of buying money. Not going to do that. And pretty much everywhere you go in the screen will want you to buy money. No. I'm not spending £300-400 on this game because that's crazy. People definitely do, though. So I'm going to come away from the game now and just talk about my experiences of it. So I don't need to show the game. It kind of makes me be able to blur less, which is good, because then, I don't really then need to spend a lot more time editing out bits in this unnecessarily, but talk about my experiences of actually playing the game for the last 30 days. So to summarise, well, it's been pretty much almost a month. It's been an interesting journey so far. I don't know whether I mentioned before, but I've kind of led one clan in the early days, moved to one, then another, and then finally found my home where I am today. I'm certainly not planning to do any more clan hopping. The real reasons I've ended up moving from clans has been, one, because I was thrust into a leader position where I didn't understand what the hell I was doing, so therefore it was a good idea to get out. And secondly, were ones where basically the clan were extremely toxic to the point of you needed to get out or else you'd have been eradicated from the game, from the bigger players on the city. So it's been an interesting journey. There's certainly been some very interesting people that I've come across, some that are very potentially delusional, claiming to be very large YouTubers, to the point of, I doing YouTube myself, I certainly, if I was that particular person, wouldn't have gone on and then basically abused every single person on that city, because, you're not going to build out a community by being an abusive person, are you? There's certainly been a lot of manipulation as well, where the terms racism and sexism have been thrown around quite readily, even though there's been real little to no evidence of those kind of things happening. Although I have certainly seen those kind of comments on the city chat, which kind of begs me to believe that, Yotta Games don't really regularly regulate the conversations that happen there, which is a real shame because, if I was going to recommend this to a person, under the age of 16, I would certainly say it is not the place to be, because some of the conversations in there get very heated and very personal and nasty, which isn't nice. It's interesting though, there's certainly, the way that the idea of the game is there, it's driven by power, it's driven by manipulation, it's driven by kind of, strategic and tactical thinking. So if you come from that kind of background, you can kind of work your way around people's emotional states and manipulate them the way you best see fit, and probably gain quite a lot out of it, which I've certainly seen that happen a few times, which is an interesting concept, really. The game's quite useful. I quite like it's a mixture of like I mentioned before, I'm almost an RTS and a kind of city builder, and I quite like that. What I don't like is the deliberate need and push for monetization, although I can imagine they are making a pretty buck on this game, to be honest. Obviously it's free to have, but the microtransactions are pretty much almost forced upon you, because to actually get any good at the game, it is very much a pay to win model. So I'd just like to finally leave off with, a heads up and mention to any of the clan members that have kind of joined and watched my YouTube channel. Thank you very much. Thank you for the support. And it's actually been a wonderful experience getting to know quite a lot of you, in a short period of time, really. It's been really good. I'm quite enjoying it. And I think there's quite a good community in there. I'm quite fortunate that I think that the clan I'm in is very much kind of sticks to the rules, plays to the rules to a degree. We obviously, if we get retaliated against, we'll probably bend a little bit as well. But, we do try to, play the game the proper way with a bit of etiquette as well, which I think is really important in these kind of games. Whether that will see us dominate and win, I'm not sure, because I think, unfortunately, you have to be a little bit more sly and nastier to get ahead. But I'd rather win from an ethical standpoint than, one of basically just pure dominance and ignorance to the actual any rules that are set out in the game. So there we are. If you have liked this and you want to see what I do next with Mafia City, then stay tuned, hit the like and subscribe, and maybe hit the bell button as well. Just makes it all kind of pop.